Hi everyone, my name is Gianna Babin and I'm going to be presenting solutions to Case 3 and Case. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Case 3 entails a 5-year-old boy that is brought to his pediatrician's office for an annual visit. His mom reports that he's frequently getting sick and appears to be very drowsy for his age. The mother also voiced concerns about his persistent thirst and frequent urination. After these concerns were voiced, the office then takes blood samples for a measure of insulin at an initial condition where time is equal to 0, and then once again 1 hour after a glucose loading test. So at time 0, the boy's insulin was equal to 0.8, as the control was 6 plus or minus 2. And 1 hour after the glucose loading test, the boy's level was 5. Control level was about 40 plus or minus 11. So clearly the little boy has some underlying issues that can be discussed. From both the textbook and from background knowledge from other courses, I would conclude that the boy may have type 1 diabetes, otherwise known as insulin-dependent diabetes. I would come to this conclusion because the level of insulin is extremely low in both cases compared to the controlled level. And this low level indicates that the glucose in the boy's blood is not being used, which then also contributes to an increased thirst level, and an increased thirst level would then lead to frequent urination. In order to prove this condition, the physician should order a fasting glucose test. If the physician were to order a fasting glucose test, I would expect the boy's blood glucose levels to be above normal range. I would expect this because the cells in the boy's body are not able to acquire the glucose found in the blood. So this would then leave the glucose in the blood not being used, and thus increasing the glucose levels. 2 enzymes that are likely to be active in the boy's current condition is part of the gluconeogenic enzymes. So gluconeogenesis is a metabolic pathway that generates glucose from substrates. Some enzymes that are involved in gluconeogenesis can include glucose 6-phosphate phosphatase and fructose 1,6-biphosphatase. So these are the enzymes that I would expect active in the boy's condition, which is type 1 diabetes, otherwise known as diabetes. Moving on to case number 4. Case presents a healthy 2-month-old girl that has jittery spells several hours after breastfeeding. The child's mom reports that the baby has not had anything to eat other than breast milk since birth. The newborn baby recently only sleeps for more than 2 hours between feedings, which is when the mother first noticed seeing these symptoms. Lab results are anemia, unremarked otherwise. Epinephrine is administered to the newborn, and there's no increase in blood glucose, but there is an increase in lactate levels. So from the information provided and the options given in the study, I would conclude that the baby is suffering from glycogen storage disease, which is known as glycogen in the body. This is because several reasons. I chose to match up the symptoms with the diseases. So symptoms of the disease include an enlarged liver, which was observed in the child, and low blood sugar levels, which is also observed, a high level of lactate, which was seen when the epinephrine was administered, symptoms not observed in the child but are also observed in the glycogen storage disease can include an increased mouth ulcers. I worked by process of elimination with this question, so I would eliminate galactosemia because the child's not vomiting and the child continues to have an appetite. So the symptoms disease are not observed and they're not consistent with the child's symptoms, so I was able to eliminate that. I would then eliminate hereditary fructose intolerance because, again, the symptoms of this disease are not observed. The symptoms of fructose intolerance includes nausea, vomiting, gas and abdominal pain, a dark color of urine, and a yellow tint seen in the skin and in the eyes, and also an increased level of fatigue. All of these symptoms are not seen within the newborn child, so I was able to cross that right off the list. Lastly, I was able to eliminate glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency because, once again, the symptoms of the disease are not consistent with those observed in the child. Symptoms of this disease include increased fatigue, dark color, urination, and pain in both the abdominal region and the back. So once again, consistent with what's seen in the child. So by process of elimination, I was able to come down that the child is suffering from glycogen storage disease, which is seen by the enlarged liver, low blood sugar levels, and high level of lactate. So, yeah.